Right, so I'm here with Jamie Mcalesse, who has an exciting pro debut against Matthew Friel coming up at Clanwars. It's a fantastic show. He comes from a fantastic gym. I have a good relationship with the coaches and a couple of the lads there. So, how are you? Thank you very much for your time. And how excited are you for this pro debut coming up?
Yeah, man, I can't wait. It's just going to be a bit different. Bit of training and we'll get see where we're going.
Perfect, perfect. You're a long time in MMA. Looking at your first fight was obviously Ryan Curtis in 2014, and obviously we hope has a speedy recovery with the injuries he sustained
Yeah.
recently. Did you think it'd be this long? Because obviously there's gaps in there's gaps in activity, and I know COVID was around that time as well. Did you think it was going to be this long for the pro debut, or did you ever think you were going to make it to the pro debut? Was that did that news come out of your mind?
I
Because
was
you
going
came
to
back
go
and you were
pro.
quite active last year.
Yeah, I was going to go pro last year, but then I wasn't really training that hard. I was just sort of half in it. But my first fight was 2009 when I started.
Oh, really?
And I fought in the Ramble and Chaos and all that sort of stuff way before it was cool. And then I had a couple of kids and stopped training, and then I came back again. And I'll train a bit more. But now I'm back. I'm just going to The kids are up a wee bit. I have another one that's about 9 months now, so I'm gonna hate stop using that as an excuse. Just keep training.
Perfect. Apologies on that. I went and I looked at your records and only had 2014 was the first fight.
Ah, see, the first fight was 2009 in the Ramble M. What was the guy's name? Kieran Ferris. My first fight.
2009. So obviously that's quite like you said, it was before it was cool. It was quite niche. It wasn't looked upon quite well. What was it like starting MMA
Yeah,
back in those days? And why did you choose to go into it at that stage?
I was the only young fella there doing it. How I got into it was my dad does the door. His friend Johnny Shields done the door with him, and that's how I got in. I harped on at my dad to get me to go down in the gym. Then Johnny took me down under his thing, and then I just stuck at it.
And what was it like at that time? I don't want to say it was primitive, but it was when you look at MMA now, you and to then it's
It
evolved
wasn't.
so
It's not
much.
like now at all. It was. I got hold of a DVD of fights and what was it? I think the fight show was, and watched the fight show on the DVD and was like, "That's what I want to do." I looked at boxing and stuff before, and I didn't really get drawn to it. But I seen my first MMA fight, and was like, I like that.
And and what was it you think? Was it because you use different skill sets? Is because it is probably the closest thing, other than maybe bare knuckle, that you get to a street fight. Is it because you had all these different disciplines mixed into one? Is that what attracted you to it?
Yeah, I think what drew me to it was more rough back there. Everybody just looked. There was no real skill. It was just all banging and getting on. It was neat. It was good to watch. And I was like, I'd maybe give that a go.
And what was it like the first time you actually stepped in? Because a lot of people, obviously, you just said you were going on and on at your father to get you into this. So obviously you wanted it. What was it like when you finally arrive on your very first fight, 2009? You're only young. Was there nerves like when you were walking up, were you thinking, fuck,
Why
is
there
this
was
a good
nerves, all
idea or a
right.
bad idea?
I never thought it was a bad idea. I always thought I could do this, but that first fight, I was like, what the fuck? What am I doing here? But then I was more or less made go in, and that was it.
And how did that result turn out, if you don't mind me asking? Because obviously I couldn't check that up.
I won. That went the full distance. I got this decision. I think I was 16 and he was 18.
Okay, so you're obviously quite young right now. That wouldn't happen. You'd be in like novice rules and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Um, when you won, what was the feeling like? Because obviously you said going in, you were like, "Fuck," you were kind of made go in, and then when you get your hand raised at the end of it, like, what was it like going? Okay, maybe this is for me.
Well, I was hooked. I was hooked from there. Mate, that first fight was rough. He was hardy, that young boy.
And then
It was like a loud bloodbath sort of one, you know. Good.
like I said, you fought on Chaos and so many different shows coming up through the years. Like, what's for one, Chaos is a fantastic show. What was it like fighting at that? Was it in the Millennium Forum when you fought on it?
I can't even remember. I think it was. I'm not sure. But I fought in that, I fought in the Ramble, I fought British Legion and Antrim. Hell of different old shows that aren't about anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of new ones coming at the minute. What do you make of the amount of shows that we do have? Because obviously you've got Clanwars, Cage Conflict, Your Fighting Championship, Chaos, Akuma's back. You've got Virtus, and then the ones down south. And I'm probably going to miss a few, and someone's going to give out to me when they see this interview. Obviously, just Cage Lexi. What do you think of that as a fighter to have that many options now?
I think it's good that there's a lot of options, but at the same time it's bad because it's only the same crowd goes to them all. And if they're double booked, you know, you can't get to them all. And, you know, it's only the same people go to these shows.
Yeah, like I was looking at, because obviously I'm back, I'm covering the sport, and I was like, right, I need to plan my calendar. And you've got 17 Cage Lexi. Sorry. You've got 17 Cage Legacy, then you've got Cage Conflict. Basically, for 5 weeks, there's 5 shows after a bit of a drought. Like you said, if just say, like, heaven forbid, like there was a pullout, just say something happened to Matthew, trying to get a replacement isn't going to be easy because another fighter of in your weight class is potentially going to be booked. So
Next week.
yeah, I wish they'd spread them out a bit more.
If they spread them out a bit, it'd be a bit better. But money's money, you know, that sort of way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I wish they would spread them out a bit more because they'll probably be from March. I know there's chaos in April, I think, or May. There's going to be like a gap again of maybe 6 weeks where there's nothing, or like there might be one show. Whereas I think if they could space them out every 2, 3 weeks, but look, that's their business. When you did come back, what was the biggest thing you noticed? Because obviously, when you stopped fighting and then you came back a couple of years later, like what's the biggest difference you noticed in the sport, be it the promotions, the way they run, health and safety, the evolution of the techniques and stuff like that? What was some of the things you kind of noticed as you came back?
And the health and safety side of things is a lot better. So as Gareth as what was on top of that now, he was in it years ago as well. He is running now great. The pedigree of the fighters now is far better. When I started, there was a boxer or MMA guy or there's a jiu-jitsu guy. Now everybody's just MMA fighters. There's no everybody's nice and well rounded. That's the biggest thing I noticed.
Yeah, and you have to be now because obviously there was the infancy in the sport where, like you said, UFC one was built like that. Boxer versus kickboxer versus jiu-jitsu, whereas now
Yeah,
because it's moved on, and I think the rise of Conor McGregor has led a lot more people in the sport in this country.
yeah.
So I think what we're getting now, you've obviously fought Damien, Almas Oliver, who were two young guys, and look how rounded they are. It's kind of scary when you see these guys are starting training quite young now. Like what you make
Yeah,
of the kids coming through at the minute.
yeah, them kids are good. I remember standing across from both of them in the third round or second round, whatever, and thinking, I'm gassed, hey. And then I'm looking over at them, they're still good. And I'm like, I used to be like that. I'm getting out of me. Yeah. They're very technical and well rounded. And they have good fight IQ.
Yeah, and like, that comes with experience as well, and there's just so much more tape available. Like you said, you got a DVD to watch it on. Like I don't think you'd probably even get many DVDs and stuff anymore. I've heard of fighters
Think of the past now.
Googling stuff,
Yeah.
YouTube and stuff to try and learn techniques from years ago as well when they were starting.
Yeah.
But obviously, you're making the lead to pro. What was it that enticed you to go to pro? And with Matthew, like, did you think, right, this is time, it's time to start the pro career?
Yeah, if I didn't go pro now, I would just never go pro. It's either do or don't. You're either going to keep fighting and training or you're not. So I thought I'd go pro, train for this one, go hard.
And what do you make of your opponent, Matthew? Obviously, he's been around quite a long time as well, and I really like this
Yeah,
match.
I've seen him about, but he's meant to be pretty all right in the ground and stuff. But that'll be a fight. I give you that.
And it'll be a fight that I can't wait to see. And obviously, what's your training camp been like leading up to it? Has it differed much from your amateur fights? Is it more intense or is it just the same?
It's a wee bit more intense. Doing a wee bit more strength and conditioning training at the minute. You get a wee bit. My shoulders and that were a bit tight at the amateur level fights, but we're getting that picked up and doing a bit of jiu-jitsu 3 times a week, training. I do as much training as I can throughout the week.
Perfect. And obviously in the gym, you've got John, you've got Alex Huox, obviously won the Fit to Fight belt there recently. What's it like in that gym? Because it seems like you're creating something special. It's only a young gym. Uh, all you guys have kind of come together for this gym. What's it like being in there at the moment when, like you said, there's these younger people coming through and you're a part um of them developing? How does it feel to be in the gym with those guys, helping develop the younger people coming through, and then have those people training you as well?
I take classes in there every Tuesday and Thursday for the guys coming up. I love coaching. I love passing on a wee bit of information and seeing if I can get guys to get me a bit better. There's guys in there that have trained with us now. They've never fought and they've never done any sort of combat sport, and they're coming out their shells and training a bit harder and wanting fights. It feels good.
And when you said, like, obviously you said there's people coming in, they're taking your classes. When you see them getting better and better on week, what kind of feeling is that? Is that a good feeling knowing that the knowledge you've passed down and you're seeing these people come out of their shells, getting more confident and increasing their skill sets? Like, what does that feel like for you as a person, a coach and a fighter, to see them progress like that?
I love that. That's my favorite part. So as I love showing guys getting better.
Perfect. And going forward, we obviously you're not looking past your next fight, your opponent, because obviously that your next fight is always your most important fight. But do you plan on being active this year? Like obviously you said it's kind of now or never for the pro. So are you looking to have a busy year this year?
Yeah, yeah, I love a better year. You know, the better I am, the better I train. Hopefully, I get a couple this year.
Yeah, and like we said, there's so many shows that is possible. Obviously, we talked about there maybe needing to spread them out, but there is so many shows that you can get it on. Um, with this fight coming up, obviously you've got Matthew, like where you said you know a little bit about him. Would you be doing that yourself, or would it be like your main coaches? Would you let them look at kind of where he's strong, where he's weak, and then train you accordingly? Or would you be someone who would look at it yourself and kind of obsess over it?
I would watch maybe a couple of videos, but I wouldn't be like obsessing over it because what he done 6 months ago does not mean that he's going to do that that night. And what I done 6 months ago, you could be a completely different fighter. That you're only fighting a body in front of you. It doesn't matter what he's good at and what I'm good at. It only matters that night. That could go either way.
Yeah, like you said a minute ago about fight IQ is another thing that comes into it. Everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face is another one. Joe, you could
That's
people
it.
and
That's it.
do you find that much with amateur? Not because obviously you're going into the pro, but when you were an amateur as well, would you look at a tape on someone from their last fight, and like you said, in 6 months' time, their skill set and they could change dramatically? Do you find that happens much?
Yeah, yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah, I've watched guys fight in their tapes, and it's maybe 6 months has went by, and I've seen another one. It's a completely different guy.
So would you, obviously you will train maybe for certain things that he always does, and then you just leave it to the night. Whatever happens, happens in there, and you get the feel of the cage.
Yeah.
And what's it like when you're in there? Like once you get into the cage, a lot of fighters say to me that they get like tunnel vision and all they can really hear is their coaches. Would that be similar to you, or what you're feeling
Yeah, I
in the
get like
cage about your battle?
the crowd just sort of blurs into one. And all you hear is like what you want to hear. I feel at peace in there.
And when you, that's a lot of fighters actually say that to me with their lives and stuff. Not that like that, like for me, because I've never fought. Well, I've boxed, but I've never competed. I would have sparred or whatever when I was younger. But for me to hear like being at peace in the cage or in a ring sounds kind of alien to me because I haven't experienced that sort of thing. Why do you think it gives you peace? Is it kind of like you find like peace within a
I
madness?
think it's just I feel like when I'm there, I feel like that's where I'm meant to be. You know, that sort of way. It's just everything's in my control. We're good. And it's, it's hard to explain. It's just like there's no noise, but there is. You just block everything out.
Yeah, would you say it's similar to like a movie? Do you ever see like the movie when you're looking through the person's point of view and they're looking up and they're going out and it's just kind of blur and they can just hear their coach shouting in the corner and you're
Yeah,
just fully
we
focused?
bit like that. Aye, it's kind of like that.
You know, a lot of fighters have said to me they find peace in the cage, and that's because, like I said, they feel it's where they belong, and that's obviously the answer you gave. Um, I'm gonna let you go. Is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone you want to shout out before you go? And I want to thank you very much for your time.
No, just thanks to my team and coaches for sticking with me. That's about it. Cheers for having me on.
Perfect. No, it's my pleasure. I can't wait to see the fight. Like I said, um, hopefully I will be at the show. Well, I'm planning on being at the show, so I'll make sure I get my credentials in early, so I can go watch the fight. I want to wish you the best of skill going into the fight and the best of luck with your pro career going forward. But I'm going to be here watching it anyways and be a part of the journey with you. So, and I take pleasure in watching people grow as fighters. So, thank you very much for your time, and I will see you at the show. I'll probably be talking to you before then.
Yeah, that'll do, man. Cheers.
Perfect. Thank you.